All right. Shalom, shalom. Kahala Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, great millstone, and well. And salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing truth and sincerity. This is Ira from Great Millstone, Wisconsin. And I just wanted to, say a few words on the wayward doctrines that's going around. And it's not just now. I titled this video, Prepare to See or to Hear or See More Bugged Out Doctrines. Because as the world is getting weaker through age, technology is becoming greater. And as technology and the internet reaches to the four corners of the earth, more bullshit is going to be spewed out of everybody's mouths. Whether they think it makes sense or not make sense, or whether, they feel like, whether they just feel like it or not, they just people are just going to wake up in the morning and just spew out bullshit, and that's just what it is, and as we, are fulfilling our missions, in the word, completing our missions, we have to realize that we can't get pissed off and mad at these people, because with more access to information there's way more access to bullshit, there's way more access to false doctrines, way more access to, abominations, and things against the Most High. So, we're not to really get mad at these things, because there's no way that they can know, unless the Lord reveal it to them, but this is the world that we are living in at this present moment, and soon it will change. But for right now, this is what we have to deal with, So this is 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. It says, I charge thee therefore before the Most High and the Lord Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom, So the quick meaning the quickened in the spirit, and the dead meaning dead in spirit. It says, preach the word, be instant. The instant means to be present, in season, out of season. So when it's favorable to teach and when it's unfavorable to teach. Reprove, rebuke, exhort. So we have to reprove, rebuke, sharply, and to teach. Exhort, uplift. Reprove, show people where they're wrong at in scriptures, and show what they're going off on, and not all people will listen. That's why Timothy said this, or that's why Paul said this next phrase. It says, with all long suffering and doctrine. And what we're doing now is we're long suffering this world, man. We're long suffering these people. We're long suffering the doctrines. We're long suffering all of this false information. We're long suffering the abominations against the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. We're long suffering the slanders against, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and his men, the prophets. So we're long suffering this place, but we have to do this with all long suffering, meaning patience. Scripture say without patience, it's impossible to please the Most High, So we have to go through this thing and take all the negative things in this place with a grain of salt. Verse 3, it says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. Let's go into this word sound, because we're in that time. We're in this time now, but we've always been in this time, but it's even more prevalent today. So when you go into this word sound,
Strong's G 5198, Hugiaino,
which means to be sound, be well, to be in good health. So they're not going to endure healthy doctrine, things that will purify their minds, spiritual things that will purify their minds. They want to endure unsound doctrine, the unhealthy things, and just chemicals and things of that nature, which represent these certain doctrines. It says, of Christians whose opinions are free from any mixture of error, of one who keeps the graces and is strong, but it says of whose opinions are free of any mixture of error. The scriptures talk about the spirit of error, man, and the rest of this world, besides 144,000 in the elect, have the spirit of error. Their opinions are mixed with error because they don't believe in the Lord, and if they do supposedly believe in the Lord, they have the wrong idea of the Lord, man. They have the wrong doctrine. They have the wrong They've done the wrong research. They don't know where to look. You know, they're reading the wrong versions of the scriptures. You know, it says, of one who keeps the graces and is strong, you know, sound, you know, strong. And that's the thing, the doctrine or the teachings of the scriptures, you know, the teaching Yahweh Hashem Yahshua are strong and they hold up. You know, the philosophies of this world are not strong and they don't hold up. Let me go down to the Strong's definitions. It says to have sound health, an example, be well in body, figuratively, to be uncorrupt, true in doctrine, you know. So the doctrine of the Lord is uncorrupt, man. Scriptures talk about how you can't mate this book, or this book doesn't have any other mates, you know. And you know, it's impossible for anything that's it's like I'm roughly paraphrasing, or it says so no foul thing can come into her, you know. So this thing is uncorrupt, you know, but the rest of the world is corrupted through carnality, you know, corrupted through demonic spirits, you know, corrupted through the flesh, you know, corrupted by their own vain opinions. So they won't endure sound doctrine, meaning uncorrupt doctrine, you know. It says, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers, you know. So they're only going to ingest what they think fits their personalities, what they think is comfortable to them, you know. It says having itching ears, you know. So they're only going to listen to people that they respect that align with their so-called interests, you know. They don't care about sound doctrine. They don't care about order, you know. They don't care about the Lord because he doesn't align with the self-interest of 2/3 of our nation and the sons of the wicked and the sons of men, you know, which are the other nations and the Edomites, you know. It says, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Yeah, so they're going to turn their ears away from the truth because it doesn't sound good to them. It doesn't fit their MO, you know. It says, and shall be turned unto fables. You know, so all, and that right there, that word fable, it describes every philosophy in this world that doesn't have anything to do with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. When you go into the word fables, it's the Greek mythos, which means a fairy tale. It says a speech, word, saying, a narrative, story, you know, which is usually fiction, you know, a fiction, a fable, an invention, a falsehood. So everything in this world is a falsehood, man, if it doesn't come out of the scriptures, you know. And these people would love to have it so, because it makes them feel good. The scriptures don't make them feel good, man. And I understand why, you know. We understand why, you know. In the book of the roll written there in Lamentations, mourning, and woe, you know. The people of this world is all about love and happiness, you know. They don't want to hear of the end time prophecies, you know. They don't want to hear destruction coming to the land, you know. They don't want to hear other nations don't want to hear that there's only kingdom of heaven is only for the Israelites, man, you know. 2/3 don't want to hear that 2/3 of them are going to have to die on this side, you know, in order to reach salvation, you know, according to Isaiah 45:17, that Israel shall be saved with everlasting salvation. But they're only going to be, you know, saved on the other side, according to Zechariah 13:8. You know, they don't want to hear things like that. You know, it says, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, you know. And the reason why this is here is because these fables, these people that turn away their ears from the truth, you know, these people that heap unto themselves teachers, they're going to be afflicting us, you know, especially in these last days to come when it comes to the persecution of the ministry, you know. They're going to be afflicting us, man, and we have to endure these things, you know. These afflictions are going to be coming from those of our own household. They're going to be coming from those of our family, our blood, our acquaintances, or old friends in the world, you know, from people at your job, you know. Also, you know, not to mention the spiritual afflictions that we have to endure, you know. So this thing is going to blow up, and when it does, there's going to be manifold temptations, you know. It says, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry, you know. So we have to make full proof of thy ministry. That means we have to be teaching, man. We have to teach the right doctrine, you know, and we have to be deathly accurate on what we are teaching in the scriptures, you know. We have to pray to Yahweh Shem Yahshai that we're breaking down these scriptures the right way as well, man, you know, so we don't fall into that category of false teachers and false prophets, you know. It's 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come." Now, perilous means dangerous. Now, why is Paul, why is he sending this letter to Timothy telling him that perilous times shall come? And why are we reading this now? You know, well, the difference is from the Roman Empire till now is there is no difference. The only difference is the year and the date, you know, or the day. That's the only difference, because in the Roman Empire, you know, you had these things going on, which are chronicled in verse 2. And now in 2023, in the Neo-Roman Empire, which is, you know, Babylon the Great, aka America, you have these same things going on, but on a higher level, because it's more accessible to them. You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and with verse 2. It says, "For men shall be lovers of their own selves," you know. So and I'll just say it, narcissists, you know, lovers of them own selves. You know, we have the social media. We have these things called selfies. We have these 3D mirrors that can go in your bedroom everywhere, you know. Everything's about self, you know. So we have this thing called self-preservation, you know. There's a philosophy called forever young, you know. Everybody wants to. Now we have filters, you know. If you want to hop on Instagram and be somebody you're not, or be 25 years younger, you can throw on a filter, you know, to make yourself look better. Clothes, cars, shoes, money, you know. That's what this world is about. Things that corrupt you. It says covetous, you know, jealousy, wanting what the next person has or the next man has, man. And the thing is that it's easy to be covetous because it's easily visible, you know, to the average person due to the internet. It says boasters, you know, everybody's boasting about what they have, material things, and, you know, how much money they have and what they're doing, this, that, and the third, you know. Instead of boasting in the Lord, they boasting in themselves. And that's where we get proud, you know. That's where we get pride, you know. Blasphemers. And then from pride, you get blasphemers, you know, lying, being deceitful, you know, lying on the scriptures, lying on the prophets, you know, not taking heed to sound doctrine, you know, saying that science is right over the Most High, you know. It says disobedient to parents, you know. Now this is twofold. You know, you have children that are disobedient to their parents, little monsters in this world, man, you know, that even that even murder their parents, you know. But you have so-called men in this truth that were brought up, you know, by certain elders and you know, men that above them, that are also disobedient to their spiritual parents, man, you know. Scripture say rebuke not an elder, and these guys are going off and being disobedient to the elders, man, which that's not the right thing to do, you know. There's a difference between rebuking and being flat out disobedient, you know. It says unthankful, unholy, you know. Nobody's thankful for anything that has been created by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you know. Nothing that they have or anything. You know, there's a philosophy out there that's I'm my own God. I create my own destiny, or, you know, or you know, I'm my own God. I create my own destiny. I'm the creator of my own destiny, you know. And that leads to being unholy, you know, because all these things have to do with demonic spirits, man, that make you unholy, you know, meaning without being separated from the world, you know, and being nigh to the Lord. All these things take you farther away from the Lord. It says without natural affection, you know, nobody cares about anyone or anything. True, everybody's going to do what they can and get what they want, and that's it. Truce breakers, you know, and that goes right back into being without natural affection. Because if you have natural affection, you won't break your word, you know. It says false accusers, you know. So liars, incontinent, fierce, you know. Everybody is violent, despised of those that are good, you know. Oh, you're a square if you know. Or if you go home and you read every day after work, oh, you're not selling drugs, that's a problem. You're not doing drugs, that's a problem. You're weird. You know, oh, you're outside teaching the scriptures, that's weird, bro. You know, why are you doing that? Go get you some money. Go party. Go get you some girls. You know, they despise things that are good. All these things that the world wants you to partake in is demonic. It says traitors, you know, and betrayal is everywhere. Heady, high-minded, that's pride. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High. You know, instead of sitting on a corner and receiving a word, men rather go chase women, go chase money, you know, go chase a high, you know, instead of going to chase the high of the Lord, man, which is his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and the Holy Spirit, man, the Howard Kakwadash. This is having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. And some in Israel, man, they do have a form of godliness. They'll say they believe in God. They'll read the scriptures. They'll, you know, even I've even seen men go out on the highways and byways and teach, or teach what they think is the doctrine of the Lord. But guess what though? But they deny the power thereof. You know, some deny the miracles. Some deny certain breakdowns in prophecy. Some don't see prophecies. You got examples today. Men that go on the highways and byways and teach today, and they teach in the name of the Lord, but don't believe in the prophecy of the charagma. Don't believe in the prophecy of the destruction. Don't believe in the prophecies of pestilence. Don't believe in the prophecies of martial law. Don't believe in the prophecies of the kingdom of heaven. Only being for Israel. You know, any of those things. It says, from such turn away. It says, for of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. Yeah, it's easy to get them because that's the spirit of the world, man. You know, it says, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. And that's the point. All of this learning is going on. All of this, the internet and the internet of things and the information age, and now information is at your fingertips, whether it's true or false. So they're ever learning, ever reading, ever studying, reading all these books and reading these articles online and these, and these different things, but they're never able to come to the knowledge of the truth because all of that, all those things that they're reading and studying blocks them from the spirit of the Lord. And that's the point here. They're being blocked from the spirit of the Lord by all of the bull that's being crammed into their heads every day and night, and they're not, then at that point, they're not willing to listen to sound doctrine. They're not willing to endure sound doctrine because they think they know everything, instead of emptying themselves and humbling themselves as children, like the scriptures say, man. An example of that is in Acts 17th chapter, and with the Stoics and the Epicureans, because now in this day and age, you have Stoics and Epicureans now. They're just called different things. There are different philosophies for everything. Just like here in Athens, that Paul was going through. Athens was a hub for all things philosophy and all things, related to education and, and academia, just like the city of Alexander was in Egypt, just like now people go to prestigious cities all over the place. You got Chicago, New York, LA, you have, different, Oxford or London, in England. You have Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. You have uh, um, I forget the city in South Africa, but you have, a hub there in South Africa, and all these places are hubs for the most diverse people, but the most abominable people and philosophies in the world, man. Washington D.C. is another one. Almost every capital of every country is some type of philosophical hub. But further ado, this Acts 17:16, it says, now when Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry. Yeah, so Paul was, he was a little agitated in the spirit. All he seen was idolatry. And we know how it was back in ancient Rome, or ancient Greece. There were pantheons and there are Greek gods everywhere. It says, therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and in the market daily with them that met with him. Yeah, so he went down and he got hot in the spirit, man. And started telling Jake off. You shouldn't be worshiping these things and wearing these charms around your neck and doing all these things, man. Verse 18 says, then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics encountered him. Now, you have different philosophies. So here you have the Epicureans and the Stoics. Now, the Epicureans, from the Greek epikurios.
Strong's G, 1946. Epikurios. Epikurios.
Now, Epicurean helper, defender, belonging to the sect of Epicurus, the philosopher. Now, let me go into Epicurus just really quick. So, in modern popular usage, an Epicurean is a connoisseur of the arts of life and the refinements of sensual pleasures. Epicureanism implies a love or knowledgeable enjoyment, especially of good food and drink. Now, when you think of that, what do you think of now today? You think of the whole world. They have a term for this. It's called foodie. People that love to go into different cultures and eat different food. That's all they do all day long is partake in the pleasures of food. Sensual pleasures, meaning sexual things. Arts of life. They want to enjoy the pride of life. That's what the Epicureans were about. So when you go into Acts, Paul was in the synagogue teaching, and the Epicureans came like, hold on, what you talking about? Because they're all about pleasures. Like, okay, this is a little different. What you talking about? He's not teaching about pleasure. So I'm intrigued. What is he talking about? And of the Stoics. Now, when you go into the Stoics, a Stoic is someone who you would deem as very serious in nature. So an example of a Stoic would be Marcus Aurelius, which was a Roman Empire. Which was a Roman emperor, Salakia.
Strong's G, 4770. Stoikos. Stoikos. Thayer's lexicon. Stoikos. Stoikos.
So from the Greek, stoikos says of the portico pertaining to the Stoic philosophy, the author of which Zeno of Citium taught at Athens. Now let's look up what a Stoic is. So a Stoic is a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining, a member of the ancient philosophical school of Stoicism. Stoicism is a school of Hellenistic philosophy founded by Zeno of Citium in Athens in the early 3rd century BC. So Stoicism is about being calm and being collected, and not letting your feelings and emotions get the best of you. Now, that is completely the opposite of the Epicureans. When the Epicureans are all about pleasures and good food and sensualness, which evolves a lot of your emotions. So let's go back into verse 18. It says, and some said, what will this babbler say? Others some, he seemeth to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahushua and the resurrection. So they're saying what you're saying to us is strange, and that's exactly what the people of the world say to us when we're on the highways and byways, and even when we're doing these shows, man. On our comment boards on the digital marketplace, YouTube, and other various platforms. They're like, what's this? This is strange, because it doesn't align with what or who we are or what we do, and the demonic philosophies that they follow, the demonic philosophy that we follow, speaking in third person, so it doesn't line up with any of those things or any of those things that's in their head. So they're like, okay, this is weird. All right, this is different. I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you mean by this. I never heard this before. What is this? Why do you have this sign? Why does that, what's that book you're reading? Even though it's from the Holy Scriptures, in the same book that they have on ice, or not on ice, on the table, collecting dust, that they claim they read, and maybe they do read it, but it's never been brought to their attention. you know it says, verse 19, and they took him and brought him into the Areopagus, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is. Now the Areopagus is Mars Hill. It's a hill in Athens, basically surrounded. It's like almost like a theater type of deal. Um, you have a large hill, and then you have the theater that's carved into the hill at the bottom. So that way, it's almost like an amphitheater. Matter of fact, I can actually grab that definition here. So it's Areopagus. It says Marshall Peak, a rocky height in the city of Athens, opposite the western end of the Acropolis toward the west. So it was a rocky height where everyone can sit down and listen to orators and things of that nature. It says, for thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know thereof what these things mean. Hey man, you talking about some weird stuff. What you talking about? Explain to us what you're talking about. That's exactly what they say to us on the highways and byways. Hey, what's this? What are you talking about? I don't understand. It says, for all Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing. And that's what you get confusion. That's where you get confusion, man. It says everyone in all of Athens, that's all they did was they just wanted to tell or listen to somebody speak. They wanted to learn. All they did was learn and tell what they learned. That's it. That's what everyone else does here in America and now today in Babylon, the Neo-Roman Empire, man. You have Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and all the Periscope and all these different platforms where people are sharing all of their philosophies and their vain opinions. And what people do, they learn it and they reshare it, or they re-record a video and they put it out as their own content, and they're just everybody's spewing madness on top of madness on top of madness, you know, and that's all they do all day long. So I'm gonna read verse 21 again. It says, for all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing. Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. Right? Like y'all have been studying too much, you know. Y'all want learning of these gods too much. Y'all have been worshiping these gods too long, you know. It says, for as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, to the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship. Him declare I unto you. And this, to the unknown God, this is Yahushua, man. Right now he's talking to the Israelites in Athens, like, hey, y'all a little superstitious, man. Y'all don't know the name of the Lord, what I'm saying? But y'all worshiping all these gods, worshiping all these idols, and you have the Lord here, or this inscription, with the Lord's name on it, and y'all don't even know who it really is that you're worshiping. Because if you did, you wouldn't be doing these things, other things that you're doing. It says, verse 24, it says, the Most High that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, though not in temples made with hands. Because that's what the Athenians were doing, That's what Jake was doing back then. Because that's all they knew. You take a god, you put it in a temple, and you write an inscription, or you build an idol or a statue, and that's how you worship it. And that's what they were doing. They were taking the Lord and worshiping him in a Greco-Roman style way, and that's why Paul's like, no, y'all don't understand what y'all doing. Y'all not supposed to be doing this. This is what the Lord is about. Verse 25 says, neither is worship with men's hands as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. Matter of fact, do I want to stop here? Because I can keep going, but I'll stop here. But yeah, so the Lord isn't worshipped like that. But the thing is that now, just like now in 2023, just like now 2000, well, back then 2000 years ago, Everybody worshiped the Lord how they wanted to, or how they thought, or how they perceived the Lord should be worshiped, you know? And just like now, everybody's worshiping the Lord how they perceive you should be worshiped. There's a lot of wayward doctrines out here telling you how to serve the Lord like this, how to serve the Lord like that. Everybody is personifying the Lord, oh, this is my God. The God, Lord knows my heart. I pray every night, and they think that's enough, or things of that nature. But the longer society goes on, the more bugged out things that we hear. Oh, I worship the Lord like this. Oh, the Lord ain't he's every color. He's a crystal. Just weird things that are just spewing out of people's mouths, man. Matter of fact, so going back to this Acts 17, let me go back to 2 Timothy chapter 4. And I'm going to read verse 3 again. It says, "For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears." So, and this is part of the unsound doctrine, being superstitious, following the rules of these other gods and passing it off like they're worshiping, the Most High, mixing witchcraft with it, and having those teachers that are teaching them to do these things because they think that it fits with their personality and who they are, and what they've studied and things of that nature, man. So they're less susceptible to the sound doctrine or the true doctrine of Yahweh Bashmi Shai, But the thing is that these people don't read either. They'll read the scriptures and they'll still go their own way and make up their own philosophies about the Lord, make up their own rituals about the Lord, make up their own everything about the Lord, man. And the thing is that they're not learning anything, but the scriptures teach us how to worship the Lord. The scriptures teach us how to, you know, um, how to conduct ourselves and our own culture. Scripture teaches how to pass these things down. It's Romans 15:4. It says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning." That's the thing. These things that are written aforetime from the scriptures given to us by our ancestors, right, were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So these things were passed down to us so we might have hope in the prophecies, that we would receive the kingdom of heaven, that the Lord will deliver us. That's what this is for, not for your own personal enjoyment or your own personal gain, fulfilling your own personal lusts and desires, man. We are to learn of the Lord so we can learn of our salvation, so we can learn how to serve him the right way, so we can in turn really serve ourselves, man. But the rest of the world doesn't understand that, because they really don't care about salvation. They don't care about these things. They don't care about prophecy. I was on the social media, and I'm looking at this page or this post that was up, and I'm seeing people left and right saying they don't care about prophecy. It's about love. Prophecy isn't the greatest gift. The greatest gift is love. Faith isn't the greatest gift. The greatest gift is love. And none of these people know what love is. They don't understand what prophecy is. They don't understand what faith is. They just want to be in their own little bubble with what they think they understand. So it's going back to 2 Timothy chapter 3 in verse 16. It says, "All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High and is profitable for doctrine," and sound doctrine, by the way, unmovable, uncorrupted doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. That's all these scriptures are for. All these scriptures are for reproof, correction, and instruction in righteousness, and teaching the true doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That is it. It says that the man of the Most High may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works, so that we may be perfect in the Lord. That's all this is here for. You go back to Ecclesiastes 13. It's like Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. The whole duty of man is to fear the most is to fear the Most High, and keep his commandments. That's it. So all this other stuff about pleasure in yourself and being emotionally uh super stern, or wanting to mix all these different books with the scriptures, and talking about Nephilim spirits and aliens and weird blood quantum theories that that Edom is half alien, half giant, half whatever the hell, man. Those things have nothing to do with the scriptures, man. You know, and that is why you have a lot of these guys in camps and these people that are advocates for these philosophies and these other unsound doctrines. It's why they hate the true men of the Lord, because we understand that all verse 16, all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction of righteousness. We understand that, and that's all that the scriptures are here for, and that's what we use the scriptures here for, you know. So this is my last scripture. It's Ephesians chapter 4. And I'll start at verse 10. It says, He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So the edifying of the body of Yahweh Shai, is only going to come through the Holy Scriptures. And you have to be 100% accurate, through the Holy Scriptures. That's it. It says, till we all come in the unity of the faith, and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, unto the perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Yahweh Shai. And the only way you can measure the stature of the fullness of Yahweh Shai is if you understand and you endure sound doctrine, and you study this, you study, read, and research, and teach this thing the correct way. It says, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine. And that's the whole known world right now, a bunch of children. Ooh, I want to learn this. Oh, I want to learn that. Oh, I want to learn this. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, what does that symbol mean? Oh, where is that culture from? What's this? What's that? And they're ingesting all these things like a kid in a candy store, man, and it's screwing up their heads and their minds, but ultimately, the Lord doesn't want them anyway. But this is what's happening. So understanding this, we don't have to get mad at these people, because they're children. It says by the sleight of men, and that word sleight means deception. There's a lot of there's a lot of, this world is full of deception. It says, and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie and wait to deceive. So the whole world's being deceived and lied to, man. By a select few groups of men that control all the media outlets, that control all of the information that's spread about in the world, man. And children are easily deceived, and that's the thing, But we are to be men. The scriptures talk about in understanding be ye men. It says, but speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Yahweh Shai, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, meaning that faith and virtue, making increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love, And so the body will edify itself, and it'll be a well-oiled machine, and it'll be self-edifying, You wouldn't have to struggle to receive fruits of the Spirit, if you're teaching this thing the correct way, if you're learning this thing the correct way, So that oil seems to self-lubricate itself, which now is what we see is doing, through the Holy Spirit and through the apostles and the elders on down, man. The body is self-lubricating itself. The oil is self-lubricating, the cells in the skin. You can't go a day. There's not a day that goes by without an edifying video, not anymore, day and night, So, I just wanted to say some words on, the baffling, mind-boggling doctrines out there, man. But it's an example of things in the scripture. So there's nothing to be bent out of shape or mad about. These things are happening for a reason, because we're at the end of this thing, and these are prophecies coming to pass. you know so with that, I hope all brothers and sisters were edified in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. I want to give all praises, call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Chakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, great millstone, and well, and salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word and truth and sincerity. Shalom.